Hey, this is Courtroom, an adversarial AI debate engine. Instead of asking one model for an answer and hoping it's right, we pit multiple AI agents against each other in a structured legal debate. The idea is simple. Decisions are better when someone's job is to poke holes in the argument. So let's run one. So we type in a dilemma and hit open court. Behind the scenes, this opens a WebSocket connection to our Fast API backend, which kicks off the first phase, discovery, that populates the evidence trail. So what's going on here is a dedicated researcher agent is now gathering real evidence. It's calling out to three different MCP servers through the Daedalus SDK, Brave Search for web sources, Exa for semantic search, and Value for academic papers, across types like archive and PubMed. And these aren't hallucinated citations either. Every source that you'll see in this evidence trail in just a moment is a real URL pulled live from the internet. And you can see them streaming in on the right now. So each of these are a snippet. They get a source type, as well as a clickable link to the actual URL. And this will be the factual foundation that both sides will end up arguing from. So just for proof of concept, I'll give you guys an example of that. So when you click on source, it'll redirect you to the actual source that the snippet is referring to, and that provides more context to the user. So there we have it. The evidence trails generated 12 sources so far. Awesome. So now that's all done. So next up, we're on to opening statements. So on the left, what you will see is the defendant agent will argue in favor of the decision. So you see it thinking right now, just parsing through the evidence trail of sources and seeing if it wants to add any of its own if it doesn't have enough context. But in this case, it thinks it did. So what it's doing is giving arguments, and notice the bracketed citations. Each one maps back to a specific evidence card in the trail. And you can click on any citation and it'll highlight that source. So the agent is basically building a structured case, numbered arguments, each backed by real data. And it also reports a confidence score, which in this case is 85%. So just a sneak peek into the prosecution as well, which is thinking right now. So the prosecution gets the same evidence, plus the defense's full argument, and its job is to dismantle, finding the weakest claims and presenting counter evidence. And what you're seeing at the bottom of the evidence trail now is the prosecution actually went and found additional sources that weren't in the original research, which show up as new cards in the evidence trail. And that's the adversarial dynamic at work. Each side is incentivized to find the strongest evidence for their position. So in just a moment, you'll see the prosecution also began to give its arguments. There we have it. And similarly, it also has the same bracketed notation, just like the defense, to point to the evidence trail. And now's my favorite part, cross-examination. So cross-examination is essentially a rapid fire exchange. So that's like short, pointed challenges and responses. And what you'll see in a moment is the prosecution will target a specific weakness, and the defense has to respond directly. So there's no new searches allowed, and they can only work with evidence that's already on the table. So you see them here actually engaging with each other's points, which will happen in just a moment. So yeah, so as you can see here, the defense is simply conceding when they think they're weak, but also pushing back when they're strong. So it feels like an actual debate. And the cross-examination typically lasts about like 3 or 4 messages per side of the prosecution and defense. So it keeps going, just kind of keeping up the idea of a real debate, just asking each other points or questioning each other's claims. Cool. So now that the cross-examination is done, our judge agent reviews the entire transcript. It summarizes the strongest arguments from both sides, evaluates how cross-examination shifted the debate, and delivers a recommendation. But importantly, the judge cites specific evidence and arguments from both the defense and prosecution. It's not generating new opinions, but rather synthesizing what was actually argued. So yeah, there you have it. That's Courtroom. It's simply a multi-agent adversarial reasoning with real evidence, real citations, and a structured process that surfaces both sides of any decision.